The night was cold and silent along the dark edges of River Delta 9, a forgotten place far from the cities. Stars hung low over the forest, and the only sound was the quiet flow of water under the half-broken bridge. Derek, a human man in his early 30s, walked slowly along the dirt path beside the river. He was on his night patrol. Nothing exciting ever happened here. He often thought of quitting and finding something new, but tonight, something felt strange. There was a strange chill in the air, and the silence felt heavier than usual. As he reached a bend near the water, he heard it, a splash, sharp and loud. Then came a low, wild sound, like a roar mixed with a cry. Derek stopped. His hand moved slowly to the small flashlight hanging from his belt. He pointed it toward the river, and what he saw made his heart jump. In the water, something was moving, struggling. It wasn't human. It had the shape of a large animal, maybe like a big cat, but its body shimmered with strange colors, blue, purple, and green lights glowing under wet fur. Its eyes flashed with a bright, unnatural blue as it kicked and fought against the river's current. Derek didn't think. He threw off his jacket, dropped his flashlight, and ran into the freezing water. The current was strong, and the rocks beneath were slippery, but he pushed forward. The creature let out another low cry, weaker this time. Derek reached it and wrapped his arms around its body. It was heavier than he expected, but he held on and pulled it toward the shore with all the strength he had. After what felt like forever, they reached the edge, and Derek fell back onto the ground, breathing hard. The alien creature lay beside him, gasping. Up close, it looked like a leopard, but no animal on Earth had glowing skin, soft pulses of light across its body, or strange symbols growing out of its fur like tattoos. Its breathing was rough, its body shaking. Derek noticed a metallic device attached to its chest, half hidden under the fur. It blinked slowly, red and blue. He reached out, but the creature suddenly opened its eyes and spoke. Not with its mouth, but through a deep voice that echoed in his mind. "Hide! The code! They are coming!" Then it passed out. Derek sat frozen. His heart pounded louder than the river. What just happened? He had never heard an alien speak. Not like that. He looked around. The woods were still quiet, but he felt watched. The device on the leopard's chest continued to blink. Something about it felt alive, like it was aware of him. He hesitated, then carefully lifted the creature into his arms. It was barely breathing but alive. He had no idea what kind of danger he had just stepped into, but he knew one thing: if he left it here, it would die, and whatever secret it carried would die with it. As he moved quickly back toward his old bunker deep in the forest, the sky above started to change. A soft hum filled the air. Derek looked up. High above, something moved behind the clouds. A ship. A drone. He couldn't tell, but he knew this wasn't normal. His feet moved faster. Every shadow around him felt darker, every sound sharper. The leopard shifted slightly in his arms, and Derek heard one last whisper in his head. "You are the key now." He had no idea what that meant, but it chilled him to the bone. A key to what? And why him? He had only tried to save a dying creature. He had only done what was right. But now, it felt like the entire universe had just turned to look at him, and it wasn't smiling. He reached his bunker and kicked open the metal door. Inside was cold and dusty, full of old tech and emergency supplies. He laid the creature down on a thick blanket and checked its breathing. Still alive, barely. He sat back and stared at it. For the first time in his life, he felt truly small. This wasn't just an alien animal. This was something more. It had a purpose, and now, so did he. The device on its chest suddenly changed color, from red to green, and then projected a small 3D image into the air, a star map, spinning slowly. Derek stood frozen as the map zoomed in on one glowing point. It wasn't Earth. It wasn't even in the same system. And beneath the map, one word appeared in bold letters: Awakening. Derek didn't know what that meant, but deep down, he understood one thing: this was only the beginning. And whatever was coming, it was already on its way. The bunker was quiet except for the soft hum of the old lights flickering overhead. Derek sat on the cold floor, his eyes fixed on the strange alien leopard lying unconscious on the blanket. The glow from the device on its chest lit up the room in strange pulses, casting long shadows on the walls. He couldn't sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the same thing, the glowing star map and that single word, awakening. What did it mean? Who was coming? And why him? He had no answers, just questions that piled up in his mind like heavy rocks. Hours passed. The leopard finally stirred. Its body trembled, and its glowing blue eyes slowly opened. Derek moved closer, unsure what to say or do. But before he could speak, a calm voice echoed inside his head again. It was the leopard, speaking directly into his mind. "You saved me," it said. "You didn't have to." Derek blinked. "You can talk?" "In my head." The creature nodded slightly. "We Korean don't use mouths to speak. Thoughts are faster, clearer." Derek was stunned. He had heard of telepathic species in the outer colonies, but never seen one. And this leopard wasn't just a wild animal. It was intelligent. A living being with thoughts, memories, purpose. The creature slowly sat up, still weak but gaining strength. "My name is Varrowan," it said. "I was the last of my kind guarding the Solari key." Derek glanced at the device on its chest. "That thing." Varrowan nodded. "It's not a weapon. It's older than any known species. It was made by the first ones, builders of stars and destroyers of empires. The key unlocks what they left behind." Derek's heart sank. This was bigger than anything he imagined. "Then why were you drowning?" he asked. Varrowan looked down. "Betrayal. I was ambushed by collectors, hunters who find and sell ancient tech. They wanted the key. I escaped, but my ship crashed near the river. I almost didn't make it." Derek tried to make sense of it. Collectors. Alien tech. Ancient power. It felt like one of those space dramas people watched on streams, but this was real. "You said something about me being the key now," Derek said carefully. Varrowan looked at him, his glowing eyes full of something heavy. "Yes. When you touched the device, it scanned you. It chose you. The key does not work with just anyone. Only a mind strong enough to resist its power. It believes you are worthy." Derek laughed nervously. "I'm not a hero. I'm not even important. I work night patrol because no one else wants to." Varrowan's voice was calm but firm. "The key does not choose based on status. It sees your heart. You acted without fear. You risked your life to save mine." Derek rubbed his forehead. None of this made sense, but it felt real. Too real. He looked around. "We can't stay here. If those hunters are after you, they'll come back." Varrowan nodded. "They already know." As if on cue, a loud beep echoed through the bunker. Derek rushed to his old scanner screen. A red alert flashed. "Motion detected. Unknown drone. 3 kilometers and closing fast." His stomach dropped. "We have to go," he said. "Now." Varrowan tried to stand but winced in pain. Derek grabbed his old field pack and tossed in supplies, his pulse rising. He opened the hidden back exit to the forest tunnel, used for emergencies only. As they escaped into the cold tunnel, the scanner showed another alert, multiple heat signatures. Not just one drone. A whole team. As they moved through the narrow underground path, Varrowan spoke again. "You must understand something. If the collectors get the key, they'll sell it to the highest bidder. That bidder is likely to be the Wraith Syndicate." Derek paused. "Who?" Varrowan's tone darkened. "A galactic group of shadow leaders. They want to control the old powers, bend them to their rule. Planets, people, whole systems, they'll burn them for power." Derek clenched his jaw. He had never even left Earth, and now he was being pulled into some kind of galactic nightmare. "So what do we do?" he asked. We find the others, Varrowan said. The Guardians. There may be some left who still protect the secrets of the first ones. But first, we need a safe place. They emerged from the tunnel into a dense part of the forest. The sky was beginning to lighten. Dawn was coming. Birds chirped, unaware of the danger creeping through the trees. Varrowan limped beside Derek, and every few steps he paused to catch his breath. Derek wanted to stop, to rest, but something in his gut told him they were being watched. And then, high above, a silent shape moved through the sky. A black triangle with red lights, too quiet for a plane, too fast for a bird. It hovered for just a moment before vanishing into the clouds. Derek and Varrowan didn't speak, but they both knew, the hunters were near. And time was running out. The forest was thick with fog as Derek and Varrowan moved deeper into the shadows, each step quicker than the last. The silence around them wasn't peaceful, it was heavy, like the trees themselves were holding their breath. The moment the black triangle ship disappeared into the clouds, Derek knew it wouldn't be the last time they saw it. The collectors were hunting now, and they wouldn't stop until they had the key. Derek's mind raced. Just yesterday, he was a nobody walking a river patrol. Now he was running for his life beside a telepathic alien leopard, carrying ancient technology that could unlock something powerful enough to destroy entire systems. None of this made sense, but the danger was real, and it was closing in fast. Varrowan suddenly stopped and raised his head, sniffing the air. "They're close," he whispered into Derek's mind. "Less than 1 kilometer. We must move west, toward the caves." Derek nodded, following without question. As they sprinted between the trees, Derek caught glimpses of strange red beams flashing in the distance, scanning the ground. He ducked low, helping Varrowan stay hidden behind thick bushes and broken logs. The collectors weren't human. That much was clear now. He saw them, tall, armored beings with black suits that shimmered like liquid metal. Their faces were covered with smooth masks, no eyes, no mouths, just a single red line running down the middle of their heads. Each one held a glowing staff that crackled with blue electricity. "They aren't just soldiers," Varrowan said. "They are machines. Built for one purpose. To track, capture, and eliminate." Derek's throat tightened. "Can we fight them?" Varrowan's eyes dimmed. "Not yet. You're not ready, and I'm still weak. But we can outsmart them, for now." They moved quickly, ducking under fallen trees and jumping over sharp rocks, until they reached a narrow canyon. Hidden between two large stone walls was a cave entrance, barely visible unless you knew where to look. Varrowan led the way inside. The cave was dark, cold, and damp, but safe, for the moment. Inside, Derek caught his breath and checked the scanner on his wrist. The red dots were moving, slowly spreading out. They were searching every inch of the forest. Varrowan collapsed beside a wall, breathing hard. "We have a few hours, maybe less. Then they will find us." Derek sat down beside him. "We need a plan. We can't just keep running forever." Varrowan nodded. "You're right. The key has bonded with you now. You are connected to it. That connection can be used, if you learn how." Derek frowned. "What do you mean, connected? It's not like I can control it." Varrowan raised a paw and pointed at the device still glowing on his chest. "Touch it. Focus. Think of something you want to know." Derek hesitated, then slowly placed his hand on the device. It felt warm, alive. He closed his eyes and thought, what are they looking for? At first, there was nothing. Then suddenly, his mind exploded with images. A flash of space. A ruined planet. An old alien temple built into the side of a moon. Voices, whispers, and then one clear word, Arcalis. Derek pulled back, gasping. His heart pounded. "What was that?" he asked, shaking. Varrowan looked at him carefully. "That was the key showing you a memory. A map. Arcalis is a hidden vault. One of the last places where the knowledge of the first ones was kept. The collectors want to find it. If they reach it before us, Everything will be lost. Derek stood and paced the cave. Then we go there. We find this our collies before they do. Varroan slowly got up. Yes. But it won't be easy. The journey will take us off-world. And you're not ready. Derek turned to him. Then make me ready. The leopard stared at him, the blue glow in his eyes shining brighter now. Very well. Then we begin. Suddenly, the ground shook. A low rumble echoed through the cave. Dust fell from the ceiling. Derek checked the scanner again. 3 red dots were moving fast toward their location. They found us, he said. Varroan didn't panic. He pressed the key again, and a shimmering blue shield appeared around them, covering the cave entrance. This will hide us for a few minutes, no more. Derek looked around. There was only one way out, and it was through the same path they entered. We need a distraction, he said. Varroan's tail flicked. I'll create one. You run east, there's an old comms tower. Use it to send a signal. Ask for help from those still loyal to the Guardians. I'll lead them away. Derek grabbed his shoulder. No. We go together. Varroan shook his head. If they catch both of us, it's over. This is bigger than you and me. Before Derek could argue, Varroan vanished into the shadows, his glowing body disappearing into the dark like a ghost. Derek stood there for a second, torn. But he knew Varroan was right. He turned and sprinted out of the cave, heart racing. Behind him, loud booms echoed through the forest, explosions, crashing trees, and strange howls that didn't sound human. He didn't know if Varroan would make it out alive. But he knew this: the galaxy was changing, and he had a part to play in it now. The wind howled as Derek climbed the steep hill toward the old communications tower. It had once been used by Earth's defense forces before being abandoned decades ago. Now it stood rusted and forgotten, surrounded by broken fences and tall grass. He moved fast, his breath heavy, boots pounding the dirt as explosions echoed in the distance. Each sound made him think of Varroan. Was he still alive? Had the collectors caught him? Derek pushed the thoughts aside. He couldn't afford to break down now. If the message wasn't sent, if help didn't come, everything would be lost. The tower's metal door was half torn from its hinges. Inside, it was dusty and dark, but the backup power was still active, blinking a faint green. Derek rushed to the main console. He had trained on similar systems years ago, and his fingers moved quickly across the old keypad. He didn't know exactly who he was contacting. Varroan had only mentioned those still loyal to the Guardians, but it was the only chance they had. He typed a short message: Solari key activated. Guardian chosen. Need extraction. Coordinates locked. Collectors in pursuit. Then he hit send. A red warning flashed across the screen. Signal weak. Limited range. Boosting required. He groaned. The signal wouldn't reach off-world unless he climbed to the top of the tower and manually activated the booster dish. Outside, the sky had turned dark again. Thunder rumbled far above, and strange lights flickered in the clouds, orange and blue, too steady to be lightning. He didn't have much time. Derek grabbed a harness from the supply rack and started climbing the tower's outer ladder, each metal rung slick with rain and rust. The higher he went, the more the wind pushed against him, threatening to rip him away. But he kept climbing. At the top, the booster dish stood still, covered in vines and corrosion. Derek reached into the control panel and flipped the main switch. Nothing happened. He hit it again. Still nothing. He slammed the panel shut and kicked the side of the dish. That did it. With a loud whine, the dish powered on, rotating slowly as it searched for a signal. The screen on his wrist flashed green. Signal sent. Receiving party. Unknown. A small sigh of relief escaped his lips. Then a new message appeared. Stand by. Ally en route. ETA 16 minutes. Derek climbed down halfway when the first shot hit the tower. A sharp blue beam tore through the air, slicing through the metal just above his head. He ducked and clung to the ladder, heart racing. Another blast hit the side of the tower. Sparks flew. The collectors had found him. He had no weapon, no backup, and no way to run. He kept climbing down, faster now, slipping once and banging his leg against the frame. He didn't care. He had to move. When he reached the ground, 3 of them were already there. Their sleek black armor shimmered, glowing red lines pulsing across their suits. They didn't speak. They simply raised their weapons. Derek backed away slowly, hands raised. "I don't have the key," he said. "You're wasting your time." One of them tilted its head, almost curious. Then, without warning, it fired. But the blast never hit. A blur of blue light slammed into the collector from the side. Varroan. The alien leopard roared, eyes blazing, and tackled one of the collectors to the ground. Derek didn't waste a second. He ran to the nearest tree for cover as chaos erupted around him. Varroan moved like a shadow, fast and deadly. He slashed through one of the machines, tearing wires and armor. But there were too many. Derek picked up a broken piece of metal and threw it at one, just to draw its attention. "Hey! Over here!" he shouted. It worked. The collector turned, raising its staff. Derek braced for the impact, but once again, something interrupted. A deafening sonic blast shook the trees. A sleek silver ship appeared above them, hovering silently, its sides marked with symbols Derek didn't recognize. From its underside, a hatch opened and 2 figures dropped down, humanoid, in armor different from the collectors. They moved with precision, using pulse weapons to take out the last 2 collectors in seconds. Derek stared, stunned, as one of the new arrivals approached. She removed her helmet, revealing sharp features and bright silver eyes. "Derek Haynes?" she asked. He nodded slowly. "Yeah, that's me." She smiled. "We've been looking for you. The key chose you. That means you're under Guardian protection now." Behind her, Varroan limped toward Derek, blood trailing from a wound on his side. "You called for help," he said, voice weak but proud. Derek caught him before he fell. "I wasn't going to leave you." The woman signaled the ship. "We have to move. This area's compromised. More collectors will come." Derek helped Varroan onto the ship, his mind spinning with questions. Who were these people? How did they know where to find him? And what did it mean to be under Guardian protection? The ship lifted off, disappearing into the clouds. As Earth shrank beneath them, Derek looked at Varroan. "What now?" Varroan's eyes glowed faintly. "Now we begin the real journey. Our collies waits. And your role in this galaxy is just beginning." The stars outside the ship's window moved like slow rivers of light as the vessel sailed through deep space. Inside, Derek sat beside Varroan, who was recovering in a healing pod filled with glowing blue fluid. The hum of the ship was soft, almost comforting, but Derek's mind was anything but calm. Everything had changed in just a few days. He had gone from guarding a quiet riverbank on Earth to being chosen by an ancient alien key, hunted by deadly machines, and now sitting inside a ship full of people who claimed to be guardians of the galaxy. Nothing felt real, and yet the pain in his leg, the exhaustion in his body, and the look in Varroan's eyes reminded him, this wasn't a dream. Across the room, the silver-eyed woman who led the rescue stepped forward. She wore dark armor with golden markings across the chestplate and moved with the confidence of someone who had seen many battles. "My name is Commander Lyra," she said. "And this ship is part of what's left of the Guardian network. We received your signal and tracked your location. You're lucky. We've lost contact with most Earth-based watchers." Derek stood, unsure how to respond. "Why me? I didn't ask for this. I don't know anything about galaxies or ancient keys." Lyra's expression didn't change. "The key doesn't choose by accident. When Varroan activated it in front of you, it scanned your heart, your choices, your fear, and your courage. It chose you." Derek glanced at Varroan, who slowly opened one glowing eye from the healing pod. "She's right," Varroan said in his deep voice. "You were not random. You are part of this now. Lyra turned to a small control table and activated a hologram. It showed a star map zooming into a red planet orbiting a dead star. This is Arcalis, an ancient vault world built by the first ones. It contains technology and knowledge far beyond anything our galaxy understands. The key can open it. And now that the collectors know the key is active, they'll race us there. Derek crossed his arms. So what's the plan? We just fly in and take it before they do. Lyra shook her head. It's not that simple. Arcalis is protected by ancient security systems, deadly ones. And the key won't open the vault until you're fully bonded with it. Derek frowned. What does that mean? Varroan answered. It means the key must trust you completely. And you must trust it. Only then will it reveal the final path. Derek sighed and ran a hand through his hair. Great. So I'm being tested by a piece of ancient alien tech. Any advice? Lyra smirked. Don't die. That's usually a good start. But just as a moment of silence settled between them, the ship's alarms went off. Red lights flashed and a robotic voice echoed through the room. Proximity alert. Hostile signature detected. Incoming vessel, collector class. Lyra's calm vanished in an instant. She shouted orders to her crew. Shields up. Evasive maneuvers. Get the Guardian into a secure chamber. Derek felt his stomach twist. They followed us? Varroan stood slowly, still weak but determined. They've marked the key. No matter where we go, they'll follow. The ship shook violently as a blast rocked the hull. Derek stumbled and grabbed the wall for balance. Sparks flew from the ceiling. We can't outrun them forever, he shouted. Lyra turned, her face serious now. We're not going to. We're going to let them board. Derek blinked. What? They think we're running, she said. So we stop. Let them come in. And then we trap them. Before Derek could argue, the ship jolted again, then the alarms stopped. A new voice spoke. Enemy vessel has latched. Boarding party incoming. Lyra tossed Derek a small device. Shield generator. Press that if they get too close. The lights dimmed. Heavy boots clanged against the metal floor in the next room. Derek stood still, heart pounding, gripping the small device like it was his last lifeline. The door burst open, and the collectors stormed in. Black-armored, tall, and silent. They raised their weapons toward Derek, but before they could fire, Lyra and her team attacked. It was chaos. Blue and red lights filled the air. Varroan leapt across the room, still weak but deadly, slamming into one of the collectors and tearing through its armor. Lyra moved like lightning, her energy blade cutting down two more. Derek stayed low, but one of the machines spotted him and charged. He pressed the shield device just in time. An energy wall appeared between them. The collector slammed into it and exploded into pieces. The battle was over in less than 3 minutes. But the cost was heavy. One of Lyra's crew was dead. Another lay injured. Varroan collapsed again, breathing hard. Derek knelt beside him. You all right? Varroan nodded weakly. Yes. But they'll keep coming. We need to move. Lyra returned to the console, her face pale but focused. We jump to Arcalis now. We won't get another chance. And Derek, she paused, you'll need to be ready. Because once we reach the vault, everything changes. The key will either open or destroy you. Derek looked at the small blinking light on the device still attached to Varroan's chest. He didn't feel ready. But he knew there was no turning back. Somewhere on that dead planet was the truth, about the key, about himself, and about the power the universe was so desperate to control. The jump to Arcalis was rough. Derek stood near the observation window as the stars stretched into thin white lines, then snapped back into place as the ship dropped out of hyperspace. Before them lay the dead world, Arcalis. A lifeless, cracked planet orbiting a red, dying star. The surface was gray and scorched, the remains of an ancient civilization barely visible from orbit, ruins, towers, and broken monuments buried in dust. But at its core was the vault, what Varroan had called the heart of the First One's legacy. And the key inside Derek was the only way in. As the ship descended, Derek felt the pull again, that strange vibration in his chest whenever he neared something connected to the key. It was like the planet itself was calling to him. He stood beside Commander Lyra in the cockpit. "We'll land near the vault's coordinates," she said. "You'll go in alone. No one else can activate the entrance. It responds only to you now." Derek gave a tight nod, trying to hide the fear that churned inside him. "And if I fail?" he asked quietly. Lyra didn't sugarcoat it. "Then the vault stays locked. Or worse, it kills you." Some doors were never meant to open. The ship touched down on a flat ridge overlooking the vault. Derek stepped out into the dry, thin air of Arcalis. The sky above was a deep purple, the red star barely giving off light. The land stretched endlessly, silent, cold, and broken. Ahead of him stood the vault. It was massive, carved into the side of a mountain, its doors shaped like interlocking gears, covered in symbols older than any language he had seen. As he approached, the key inside him pulsed stronger, glowing through his shirt. His fingers tingled. His vision blurred slightly, as if something deep within the planet recognized him. Varroan and Lyra waited at a distance while Derek stood before the door. He placed his hand on the center panel. The moment his skin touched the stone, the symbols around him came alive, glowing blue and spinning slowly. The gears began to move. The mountain trembled. With a loud groan, the vault opened. He stepped inside. The darkness swallowed him, but the key lit the way. It projected a faint blue light ahead of him, guiding him through winding tunnels and endless chambers filled with alien machines, broken, silent, forgotten. He walked for what felt like hours. Then he reached the core. It was a circular room, impossibly large, with walls covered in mirrors and floating lights that responded to his presence. In the center was a pedestal, and above it, floating, spinning, was a sphere of pure light. Derek stepped closer. As he did, the key surged within him, rising through his chest, his spine, his arms. He cried out, falling to his knees. Visions slammed into his mind. He saw the First Ones, tall, glowing beings that moved like light. He saw wars that tore galaxies apart. He saw the birth of the Collectors, machines made to serve, then corrupted by greed. He saw guardians falling, civilizations crumbling, and at the center of it all, this vault. The First Ones had locked away the last of their knowledge here. Not to protect it, but to hide it. Because it was too dangerous. The light above him spoke. Not in words, but in feeling. It asked him a question. Not aloud, not in his ears, but in his soul. "Do you seek power or protection?" Derek's heart pounded. The power in this place could bend worlds. But he thought of Varroan. Of Earth. Of the Collectors burning through planets to find this place. He shook his head. "I don't want power," he whispered. "I want to protect those who can't protect themselves." The light pulsed. Slowly, it descended into him. Pain shot through every cell in his body. The light fused with the key, and the key fused with him. He wasn't just chosen anymore, he was becoming the key. His bones, his blood, his very thoughts aligned with the vault. For a moment, he stopped breathing. Then it all went quiet. Back outside, Lyra and Varroan felt the tremor. The mountain lit up with ancient energy, and then, silence. The vault doors opened once more, and Derek walked out. But he was changed. His eyes now glowed faint blue, his voice carried a soft echo. He looked at Varroan. "It's done," he said. "The knowledge is safe. The vault is sealed again, this time with me as its guardian." Lyra stepped forward, stunned. You bonded with it?" "I didn't take the power," Derek said. "I became its shield. The knowledge stays here. With me. and no one else can unlock it again. But the collectors, Lyra began. They'll keep coming, Derek said. But they won't find what they're looking for. The vault is hidden now. From everyone. Even them. Varroan walked to him, his head bowed with respect. You chose the harder path, he said. Not many would. Derek gave a tired smile. Maybe. But it's the right one. As they left Arcalis behind, flying into the stars once more, Derek looked out the window. He was no longer the same man who walked a quiet riverbank on Earth. He was something else now, chosen by ancient forces, tested by fire, and trusted with a secret powerful enough to change the galaxy. But he would not use it to rule. He would use it to protect. Because that was what the galaxy needed most. Not another weapon, but a guardian.